Hello and thank you for joining me for the final installment of the Mass Effect trilogy. In this video I'm going to explain what happens in Mass Effect 3, so naturally, spoilers are ahead. This is a continuation of the story from Mass Effect 1 and 2, so it is important that you understand what happens in those games to best understand this one. You can watch my recap of Mass Effect 2 by clicking at the top right of your screen now, and you can find my Mass Effect 1 recap on my channel. If you do enjoy this video, all I ask is that you hit subscribe. I'm just one gamer making these videos as a hobby, so seeing a few new subscribers at the end of it is always lovely to see. Let's begin. The game begins 6 months after the previous, and like that, starts with a bombshell. We find the Reapers have invaded Earth, and Shepard, no longer on active duty, is called in to speak to the Council. However, before a counterattack can be planned, the Reapers attack the base. During the attack, Shepard encounters a young boy, not important yet, but remember him. With the Reapers quickly overwhelming the planet, Captain Anderson orders us to flee on the Normandy and return with reinforcements. On board, we reunite with Kaidan Alenko, who is no longer a little bitch like he was in the last game, and Anderson also officially reinstates Shepard into the Alliance military. Before we can head to the Citadel to ask for help, the Alliance military leader, Admiral Hackett, asks us to go to Mars, suggesting there is an outpost there led by our old friend Liara T'Soni. His jumbled message mentions discovering a way to defeat the Reapers. On Mars, we are attacked by Cerberus troops. Remember them? Yep, our employers from the last game. Naturally, this causes Kaidan to be a little bit of a little bitch again and starts to question our loyalty. And I'm like, fucking hell, man.
Let it go, let it go.
Anyway, we soon reunite with Liara in her lab. Liara explains that within the Prothean archives, she has found mention of a device which can wipe out the Reapers. Convenient. Where was this 2 games ago? Through security recordings, we learn it was one of Liara's fellow doctors who helped Cerberus infiltrate the facility. Upon inspecting a Cerberus corpse, we discover it is no longer fully human, suggesting Cerberus have been experimenting on their soldiers. When attempting to access the data that Liara mentioned, we are confronted by the elusive man on Skype, and he says,
"Don't interfere with my plan, Shepard."
And I think, well, it would be a pretty boring game if I didn't, pal. He explains that he plans to try and control the Reapers, not destroy them, and we soon find out the data is gone, and the elusive man provides one of his sinister smiles. Kaidan discovers Dr. Eva, Liara's rogue scientist who has stolen the data. She kind of bitches Kaidan up a little bit, which I'll admit was a little bit enjoyable, but before she can escape with the help of one of our new crew members, James Vega, she is defeated. We then learn that the good doctor is not so human and reappears in robot form before being killed for good by Shepard. On the Citadel, we appeal for help to the Council, and with like most RPG games, we're asked to help them first before they can commit troops to Earth's cause. Meanwhile, we report Liara's findings to Admiral Hackett. The blueprints appear to be a huge weapon which the Alliance sets out to analyze and then build. Before heading out to help the other races in their fight against the Reapers, we are reinstated as a Spectre, our role from the first game. Meanwhile, Commander Shepard becomes plagued with bad dreams, in which he sees that boy from earlier. On the planet of Palaven, Shepard is asked to rescue General Victus by the Turians, who are locked in their own conflict with the Reapers. Among the combatants is our friends and crew member, Garrus. We rescue Victus and he agrees to help us save Earth, but first we must secure Palaven, and in order to do so, he needs the help of the Krogan. Now, if you haven't been paying attention, the Krogan race notoriously don't like anyone, but specifically not the Turians and the Salarians due to their involvement in the Genophage, a genetic weapon used on the Krogans to prevent them from breeding. Sounds like a piece of piss, Shepard thinks. Back on the Normandy, everybody is on edge, and it appears that Edie, the ship's AI, has taken on physical form, specifically the vacant body of Dr. Eva. How perfectly normal. Meanwhile, we meet with the Krogan leader, Urdnot Reeve. This will be Rex if he survived the events of the first game. The Krogans agree to help the Turians on one condition.
Cure the Genophage.
Shepard thinks, yeah, piece of piss. Along with Reeve, we head to the Solarian homeworld, where there's said to be a scientist working on a cure for the Genophage. The scientist turns out to be our old friend, Mordin Solus. It's learned that Mordin has been helping a fertile female Krogan, who he sees as the hope for her race. He plans to use her genetics to form a cure. With the help of Reeve and our crew, we fight off some Cerberus soldiers whom arrive and safely escort the female Krogan, named Eve, back to our ship. We check in with Hackett, who explains the construction has begun on the Prothean device, which has been dubbed the Crucible. Very scary. Mordin completes his cure and plans to dispense it using a tower called the Shroud on the Krogan homeworld of Tuchanka. Before setting off there, the Solarian diplomat tells us that their operatives sabotaged the Shroud years ago to prevent a potential cure from being distributed. She asks us not to tell Mordin Solus or the Krogans. This way, the Genophage won't be cured, but the Krogans will think it has been and will still join the Turian forces. This is, of course, up to the user, but I did feel sympathy for the Krogans, so decided to tell Mordin that the Shroud was indeed sabotaged. In order to fix it, he sacrifices his own life.
Shepard, please. Need to do this. My project, my work, my cure. My responsibility.
Our scientist friend succeeds and the cure is dispersed over to Tuchanka. He then peacefully passes away. With the cure in place, the Krogans pledge their forces to our cause and promise to fight for the Turian homeworld. With another promise fulfilled, the Turians pledge themselves to our fight against the Reapers. We're then contacted by our friend and old crew member, Thane Krios, who tells us that Cerberus have taken over the Citadel. On the Citadel, we find the Solarian council member being held captive by an assassin. The Solarian tells us that Councillor Udina, remember that prick from the previous games? Yeah, well, apparently he's a traitor, who'd have thought, and is working with Cerberus. With the help of Thane Krios, who despite the fact he is dying from an illness, we manage to prevent the assassin known as Kai Leng from killing the Solarian councillor. But in the final moments of the duel, Leng stabs Thane. We track down Udina, who was indeed working with Cerberus, and are forced to kill him. What a bloody shame. A short time later, Thane Krios sadly dies in the company of his son Kolyat and Commander Shepard. Rest in peace. We then attempt to help the Quarian race in their plight against the Geth in the hope of securing their help on the battle for Earth. During this mission, we reunite with our friend Talivas Normandy and assault a Geth dreadnought. While on board, we find and rescue our Geth ally from the previous game, Legion. With his help, we destroy the dreadnought in orbit over the Quarian homeworld. On the homeworld of Rannock, we locate a Reaper base and attempt to destroy it, but upon doing so, we realise we've just disrupted an actual Reaper's afternoon nap. After a long and intense fight in which my old friend, Reload, last checkpoint, helped me out, Shepard and her friends, but let's be fair, mainly fucking Shepard, destroy the Reaper. With the Reaper dead, Legion reveals that the Geth are no longer under the command of the Reapers and are now free. User dependent, we can convince the Quarians to stand down from their war and let the Geth depart. Failing to do so, we'll see one of the sides wiped out by the other. I managed to negotiate a ceasefire, but in doing so, Legion reveals that in order to improve the Geth race, he is going to upload himself into their consciousness. Yeah, I'm a bit confused too. Basically, all you need to know is that our robot pal sacrifices himself for the future of his race and dies. Shortly later, the Asari councillor contacts us and reveals that she has learned of a Prothean artifact on their homeworld of Thessia, which she believes could be used as the catalyst, the final step needed in completing the Crucible. On Thessia, we find the artifact, which is actually an ancient Prothean VI, who explains that their race didn't actually design the Crucible. An ancient race millions of years ago started it, and in each Reaper extinction cycle, races added to it, but it's never been completed. Before he can tell us how to finish the super weapon, our meeting is interrupted by Kai Leng. The elusive man once again rocks up on Skype and attempts to convince Shepard to not destroy the Reapers and to go along with his plan and attempt to control them. Naturally, we're like, yeah, fuck off, before he orders Kai Leng to kill us and retrieve the Prothean artifact. We enjoy a good fight with Leng before he decides to cheat and call in a rocket ship.
I want one of those.
The Cerberus assassin steals the Prothean data and escapes in his ship, despite us shooting it with a pistol, which definitely would have worked, by the way. One of our crew members, Specialist Trainer, tells us that she managed to track Kai Leng's ship to the Lyra system, but something is blocking its signal any further. In the Lyra system, we find a place named Sanctuary, which is supposed to be a place of refuge. When there, we learn through video messages from our old curvaceous friend Miranda from the previous game that it's actually a Cerberus science facility run by her father, Henry Lawson. Through more recordings, we learn that this is the facility in which Cerberus are creating their non-human soldiers that we encountered earlier in the game. We also learn that Henry Lawson has figured out how to indoctrinate and essentially control the Reapers for the elusive man. We confront Henry Lawson, who is holding his daughter and Miranda's sister, Oriana, at gunpoint. We convince him to stand down, but Miranda kills him. Miranda also tells us that she planted a tracker on Kai Leng before he left Sanctuary, and with any luck, that will lead us to the elusive man himself. And would you believe it? It bloody does, you know. And we gracefully arrive on Cerberus's space station. On board, we attempt to locate the stolen Prothean VI and continue our conversation from earlier. But we're interrupted by the elusive man, who, guess what, is via Skype yet again. He once again debates Shepard on how to deal with the Reapers before revealing that he has the catalyst needed from the Prothean VI. The elusive man soon elusively goes away, and we activate the Prothean VI, who tells us that the catalyst we need to defeat the Reapers is the Citadel itself. When combined with the Crucible, it can defeat the Reapers for good. Shepard thinks, yeah, no problem, mate. I'll just, go and grab the Citadel. However, we then learn that the elusive man has already elusively informed the Reapers of our plan, and that the Reapers have seized the Citadel and moved it into Reaper-controlled airspace, specifically above Earth. Before we can leave, Kai Leng once again arrives, as he so often does, and attempts to kill our beloved Shepard. But say it with me, folks, Shepard is the main character and can't be killed. So see you later, Kai.
That was for Thane, you son of a bitch.
Before we set off on what will be the final game battle of Earth, we have a final chance to recruit any more races or allies to our ranks through several side quests. This also includes the Rachni Queen and her colony if you chose to free her in the first game. While on this mission, you can also reunite with our little tank-born friend Grunt. Admiral Hackett boards our ship and delivers a passionate speech to our fleet, which consists of the many races we have helped throughout the series so far. And in a scene rivaling the ride of the Rohirrim in Lord of the Rings, the fleet arrives above Earth. And after Shepard gives the order to ride the ruin and the world ends, we assault London and reunite with Captain Anderson, who has remarkably survived the duration of the game on Earth. Meanwhile, Alliance forces fly the now completed Crucible into the Earth's atmosphere. After fighting through London, we learn that to get to the Citadel, we must enter a Reaper teleportation beam, which is naturally guarded by several Reapers. Our entire squad is wiped out and our companions are forced to flee. However, Shepard, being Shepard, makes it through, despite being severely injured. On board, we find Captain Anderson. However, the duo are soon subjected to the elusive man's mind control techniques, of which he learned from the Reapers. And we meet him in person for the first time in the series. It soon becomes obvious that the elusive man himself is in fact indoctrinated by the Reapers and has actually been doing their bidding all this time. Shepard manages to resist the mind control attempts and shoots the elusive man elusively. Shepard opens the Citadel and allows the Crucible to dock inside, finally completing the super weapon. With the mission complete, Shepard and Anderson peacefully begin to die together while overlooking their beloved Earth. However, Admiral Hackett comes on the radio and reminds Shepard that she's the main character and that she can't die. And also that, the weapon that they made isn't actually firing, and Shepard needs to activate it from within. Shepard soldiers on to the heart of the Citadel, and there meets an entity that calls themselves the Catalyst. And I'm like, wait, I thought the Citadel was the Catalyst. You'll also notice that this entity strangely resembles the little boy that Shepard saw at the start of the game and in her dreams ever since. And brace yourself, this is when things get a little bit confusing. The Catalyst claims it controls the Reapers and they are the solution to chaos. It claims to have created the Reapers to prevent synthetic life from becoming so advanced that it replaces organic life. Hence why when a cycle reaches its technological peak, the Reapers invade and reset the universe. Still with me? Good. The Catalyst admits that this cycle is no longer feasible and presents Shepard with 3 options which decide how the game ends: the fate of Shepard and the fate of the Normandy crew. Like most BioWare games, there's no real good ending, as all of them have negative attachments. We can destroy the Reapers for good, but in doing so, we will wipe out any other synthetic life. This also includes our friend Edie and our now allied Geth race. Plus, it will also damage technology of the universe like the Mass Effect relays. We can opt to control the Reapers, essentially what the Elusive Man wanted to do. To do this, however, Shepard must sacrifice herself so that the Reapers can absorb her consciousness. Shepard will die, but will essentially live on within the Reaper race, who will, on the instruction of Shepard, no longer be an enemy and will help rebuild the universe. Or we can choose the synthesize option, which sees us throw ourselves into the Crucible, sacrificing ourselves and using our DNA to set a new synthesized status quo between humans and machines and merge organic and synthetic life together, making the Reaper's jobs redundant. Now, it was tough, but I opted to destroy the Reapers. I'd basically spent 3 games trying to do so I may as well bloody do it in the end. Plus, I haven't really known Edie that long anyway, and the Geth spent most of the game trying to kill me, so fuck them. With this choice, the Crucible is armed and fires. Shepard is assumed dead within the explosion, and we see synthetic life wiped out across the universe. The fate of the crew of the Normandy largely depends on your relationships with them. Either way, with this ending, the Normandy crashes on an island planet and your 3 closest crew members emerge from the wreckage. The fate of the others is left unknown. But not for very long, because the very next scene shows your crew holding a memorial for Captain Anderson and Commander Shepard, who, despite being the main character, it would seem can indeed die. And that is what happens in the Mass Effect trilogy. If you've been with me for this whole series, thank you so much. Please do hit subscribe if I've helped you, and please do check out my channel for more look backs on iconic video games and iconic video game series just like this one.